Thomas Piketty, in his lecture, which was turned into a book, Nature, Culture, and Inequality, has said it would not be possible to account for a variation in income inequality on the basis of natural factors. The disparities that we see in the world cannot be attributed to differences in personal talent, natural endowment, or natural temperament, and it would be very surprising for these talents to be distributed so unevenly between countries. Nor can we attribute the disparities to the country's natural resources. There is oil in the Middle East and oil in Norway, yet their income distribution is entirely different. All the evidence suggests that it's the institutions chosen by these different societies, which are themselves the product of different social, cultural, political, and ideological histories that lead to the wide disparity in levels of inequality. Thinking about the formation of institutions as the agents that lead to the sabotage of human society, or the proliferation and stability of societies, the cruciality and the centrality and the importance of institutions. Now, I want us to think for a moment about an American institution which is really a category that is afforded special privilege by the state. That institution is the church. The Christian church within the United States of America that the government has rolled out the red carpet for and afforded special privileges within the context of society to help to promote the proliferation and the expansion and growth of that institution. But I want us to think about this in a critical way. I want us to think about this in a revolutionary way. In a society that has the propensity to become more and more authoritarian, in a society that has the propensity to become more and more prejudice against freedom, more and more prejudice against those who resist and oppose this institution, try thinking about this category of the church as a possible strategy within the context of this society. What do I mean? If we have a society that tries to restrict freedom within different domains of opposition that don't comport with its particular ideology or its particular value structure, and so it has created this special pleaded category to afford to this category special privileges. It doesn't make any sense for those revolutionaries, for those resistors, for those progressives within that society not to think about making intelligent use of this category. If this category has been afforded and granted special privileges, then doesn't it make sense that those who are seeking to restructure society, that those who are seeking to impact society through the formation of institutions, especially populist or grassroots institutions, why should they not make use of this special privileged category? It makes sense when you think about it rationally. It makes even more sense when you think about it strategically. Does one need to actually be a believer to make use of the category of the church? Does one actually need to truly believe in their hearts the things that are contained within that particular religious sect to benefit from the societal and social advantages, the privileges that have been afforded to this category? The answer, of course, is no. The individuals that we see that occupy these institutions, they are not themselves true believers on their own religion. They're hypocrites, they're frauds, they're grifters, they're manipulators, and yet they make use of this social category for destructive purposes. They prey on society through it. They prey on the vulnerable through it. But what if intelligent humans within society, what if strategically social humans, progressively social humans, progressively strategic individuals decided that they should make use of this category to help promote and create better institutions in society that don't prey on people? I state this as a possible option for those who are atheists, for those who are humanists, that if the societal structure, the authoritarian structure, becomes so oppressive and so restrictive that it tries to persecute other forms of religious belief, other forms of humanistic belief, trying to close off any type of privilege or benefit to their categories, then why should one not make use of this Christian category, this category of church within the context of society? Now, I admit that this should probably not be the first act that one reaches out toward in terms of tactic or strategy. It'd be much wiser to form humanist assemblies that have a 501(c)(3) status. But the question still becomes, what is the benefit and the privilege that is afforded to these 501(c) categories? Is it the exact same as the category of church? If it's not, and if the category of church is a safer option, then it truly does make sense from a strategic vantage to make use of this category of church for the good of society, for the good of the people, to help the people through this category, even as this category has been afforded privileges and rights through the state to allow it to progress and proliferate. And the question would be, how far could one take these privileges? How far could one take these rights? Could one, for example, establish churches that have property on them so that homeless individuals, people that are impoverished, can live on that property? Can this category of church, how many ways can this category of church be utilized to gain an advantage over the system? Are we thinking now? Are we thinking about this? Instead of allowing our prejudice and our emotion to say, well, I'm not a believer, I would never go down that path. No, we're thinking pragmatically. We're thinking strategically. Can we make use of this category to help society, to gain an advantage, an institutional advantage in society that allows us to impact society in a progressive way? And if we can do that, it makes perfect rational sense to pretend like all the other religious preachers of the Christian religion, to pretend right there along with them, except we have better motives. We actually want to use the category to help people. We actually want to use the category to educate people, to help to bring about greater stability, a greater community, a humanitarian community within society to really help people, not to prey on people. Because the truth is, in our hearts, we're humanists. In our hearts, we care about people, we care about society, we really just want to impact society. We're not grifters. We don't care about stealing money or manipulating people to get money. We don't care about fame. We're not interested in any of that. We are interested in the qualitative transformation and stability of society. And so there is this category called church that the state has afforded privileges and benefits to. And it's a very live question as to whether or not, depending on one's social conditions, one should strike out in use of this category to help to impact society.